Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a grandiose day. If you're not having a grandiose day, then you have problems. You have major problems. We are
Right.
here on the Savage Patriots to discuss with you a myriad of topics. Some of you will understand the topic, some of you will not. And we're not hoping for anyone to be lost. So if you don't tune in, it's on you. And if you can't keep up, that's also on you. So we'll be
Truth.
right back. Peace, harmony, and love.
Right.
Shalom,
Here.
all the above. Quick question to those out in the audience. If you don't mind, please share the live. Okay, we need to get our traction moving. Okay, if you guys really say you like us, spread it, please. Okay,
If you
thank
say you like us.
If you say it, I mean you can always lie, I guess, but
Yeah,
where's the fun in that?
you could do that.
The topics today is various and sundry, and we're going to go counterclockwise today. You kind of are getting rumbled a little bit, Aaron, but we're not going to be saying the kinds of things we can't say on, YouTube.
Yep.
But we don't have a topic for everyone to talk on. Everyone has their own topic. So first will be Coy, second will be Jay Lee, and third will be the other black guy. That's right here. This guy.
Yeah,
Bro.
This
bro,
Negro
taking
here.
us out.
This Negro. We'll be exited by Harriet Tubman over here. He's gonna take us on the
Harry
next.
Tubbs.
Okay,
That actually would be a great rapper name, Harry Tubbs.
Harry Tubbs.
And
But
the
you gotta be
Underground
fat.
Railroad is
You're
backup
gonna have to be
singers.
fat. You're gonna have to be
Mm.
fat.
Yeah, Harry Tubbs.
Harry
Coming at you
Tubbs.
live.
You have to be fat. So here we gonna do. Mr. Coy.
Yep.
Break
So
down
we
what you
gotta-
got for us, please.
It's more of a like quick hits for what's kind of trending this week. One of them being Elizabeth Warren is calling for an investigation into Elon Musk over his foreign policy influence. Right. So Elizabeth Warren said that tech entrepreneur Musk should be investigated for his personal influence and how Starlink satellite internet can be used in Ukraine. Musk confirmed last week that he prevented the Ukrainian military from using Starlink internet during an attack on Russian forces last year, raising questions about his personal influence on foreign policy and events. That attack was them trying to sink the Russian flagship fleet. So in his mind, he prevented another Pearl Harbor event on Russia, which would have sparked a World War III event in his mind.
Wow.
Good on him.
Right? So this is the context you have to understand. They're complaining that he shut down Starlink for not allowing them to sink an entire fleet of ships.
Good.
Is
Did you-
Starlink his?
It is his.
Oh, okay. So it's his, right?
Yeah, he
Right.
owns it.
Okay. So
Wait.
I want to make sure he owns Starlink.
Yes.
Right.
So there is no jurisdiction that the government has if he feel like shutting down his own.
Right.
Oh, I just want to make sure that's
Yep. No,
okay.
you
Okay,
are
good.
And
absolutely
he has not
correct.
given governmental jurisdiction over Starlink too, correct?
No, but back to that point, that's a good point because I don't know if Coy's going to discuss this, but Elon Musk did do an interview.
Yep.
And they asked him that question, why? And Elon Musk told him straight up in this interview in front of the world, I don't answer to foreign governments.
Yeah.
He is not the president of the United States. He doesn't dictate what I do because it wasn't our government asking him. I think it was Ukrainian government, right?
Mhm.
It was Ukrainian government. So yeah, Elon Musk was like, I don't answer to Ukraine. They're not American.
So she goes on and it's like, we need to investigate how this happened. What's in those contracts that permits him to have that kind of power? Well, for one, he doesn't have a defense contract through Starlink, through the U.S. government. Two, second point. Are we or are we not at war with Russia? Because you need to tell me that one first. If we're at war with Russia, then that would make sense that you would tap a U.S. company to provide war logistics. Access and logistics to Starlink. But this is a foreign power that we are giving certain things to. He still has to be paid for those services because it's a private company. Like they always said about Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff when they were interfering with all that, it's still a private company. You
That's
can't
right.
do that. You can't make them use their services. And they don't have a defense contract. They have a SpaceX defense contract with rockets and stuff like that, but not for those satellites, specifically Starlink.
I didn't know Elon was that based. You know,
Yep.
sometimes he comes off iffy to me, man. I don't know where he's going
He's
half
still
the
iffy.
time, but
He has Asperger's, or what they used to call Asperger's.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
he's
That's
on
why.
the spectrum, dude. You're not really gonna ever know what's on Elon Musk's mind.
oh,
Period.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's he's a bit special. Just a bit special.
Just a little bit.
So, like I said, this is basically what Warren is calling for, is saying that he needs to be investigated because or what they deem as treason, right? They're saying that he's a traitor for not allowing Ukraine to use his services to complete an attack that would probably have sparked World War III. That's
Wow.
exactly what they're saying. With a country we are not at war with.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Now, Elon Musk did come out and say, now he did say this. He said, if the president of the United States told me or asked me to use my Starlink to help, he said, I probably would help. But he said, I don't take orders from foreign countries. And that's who asked him. And for Elizabeth Warren to question that, him denying a foreign country access to something when they're not an American company and it's not in his best interest, that's kind of iffy, fishy to me, a little fishy.
Yep.
And my question is, why is the United States government, or at least United States politicians, why are they trying to encroach on the property of a private business?
Because they're really communists.
Yeah, and they think they're in charge. They think, look, I mean, if they
It was a rhetorical question.
But look what they do to us, and we're not even billionaires. You know, look what they do to us. The little dollars that we make in tax, they take that, and so you can imagine if they don't care about us, they damn sure don't care about a multi-billionaire.
Facts.
Yep. And I think Elon's the only kind of based rich dude. Like he's actually cares about what he says. And then there are other ones, which leads into the next story, that are just absolutely BS machines. This next dude, Marlon, if you want to bring up the video, he's amazing. This is in Aussie.
That's a dude? Oh, no,
no, okay, sorry. No, that's coming up in the interview. Is an amazing dude. He's the guy that said that you should stop buying avocado toast if you want to afford a house.
Mm-hmm.
It's that same guy. So listen to this report and you'll get it.
And federal MPs have slammed millionaire property developer Tim Gurner after he accused workers of being arrogant. At a property summit yesterday, the 41-year-old claimed tradies are being paid a lot to do not much at all. And he says a massive rise in unemployment is needed to remind Aussies they're lucky to have jobs.
Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around.
What an extremely...
So that's the clip that's been going around, and people are going, "Yeah, dude, you're insane."
I have a different take about that.
I know some people would.
What are your thoughts about it?
My thoughts is he's absolutely insane. He's legitimately calling for the unemployment of half a country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got the Great Depression, one of the worst economic times in American history, was less than like 20% unemployment. He's asking for more unemployment than the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to me, it's like, I don't think that's right, because we've seen the data on this, that productivity and workers' wages have not been equal to each other. Workers' wages isn't even equaling inflation at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People are working harder than they ever have, and they're not getting enough in return for their labor.
I don't know about that. Here's why I agree with him. People can hate me all you want. This is why I agree with him. And you have to look at it from this perspective. Today's workforce is absolute trash compared to 12 years, 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Today's employee wants more than they're willing to give. So I fully agree that you should fire every last one of those lazy, worthless, good-for-nothing people give them nothing to do because you're not benefiting the person paying you. 15 years ago, you could see good workers. 20 years ago, you could see good workers. Today, man, come on, man. The workforce today is absolutely trash. There might be 12% of the population that might be hard workers. But they're so overcast by the retarded, dumb ones out there that I could see his point. I could see just going, everybody just get fired and we'll start over from scratch. And if you really want to work, I want to see you put the effort in.
This is for education purposes.
Everybody today wants a handout, a hand up. They don't want to work hard for any. Okay, look at construction. And I've been watching current construction.
Yeah.
Current construction guys sit down more than they work, but they want the highest pay from the union. Jobs that would take 2 weeks are taking 2 months because of lazy. Look, anyway, calm down. Lazy people. And you want me to, and Australia is notorious for worthless workers because they've been handed so much. I completely agree. And it shouldn't just be him. Everybody that owns a business, fire everyone. And if you really want to work, you come back and we'll have a discussion. But I'm not going to just hire because you need a job. I have something to produce. If you are being counterproductive to my means, I'm firing you. I'm not going to hire a lazy bum just because you need a job. No, you got to give me something from my money to be invested in you. When I went into the workforce at 13 years old, I had to outwork people who were 30 or I would be fired. That was the demand. And I had to understand that going into the job. Today, man, come on, man. You look at the workforce today and what do they offer you? Tell me what they, I'm late and you need to accommodate my time blindness.
That's right.
Come on now. Come on now. No, I fully agree.
I agree and disagree in a couple aspects. For me, it's like I also think that the corporate structure has also done this to themselves.
How?
In the first place.
How?
What do you mean how? Like how they treated their employees. That's what the question was. How they treated their employees and how they've not stuck with wage growth. That's why.
How can wage growth? How can wage growth compare or compete with stupid presidencies that make the economy worse?
I know, but they haven't helped improve it because they've
been the employer's job.
Certain companies have been lobbying for this stuff for a very long time. It's not just the government. It's the lobbyists as well that have been doing this. The unions as well, because their policies are what push it. So that's why I say they've done it to themselves. Yes, unions are bad.
I have never been one for unions at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Never.
I think that we can all agree on that. Unions are bad.
And I will tell you what a productive worker is, Lydia. Here's what a productive worker is. If in 8 hours I expect a certain level of things to be accomplished and it's humanly possible, I want it done. If you can't get it done, you're not productive. Case in point. This is what unions tell you. You get a break, 15 minutes. About 2.5 hours into the workday, you don't even get a chance to solidify what you're doing in 2.5 hours. This is how asinine unions are. An hour and a half later, you get a half-hour lunch. 2.5 hours later, you get another 15-minute, 20-minute lunch break. And then you have the right to leave early, and they have to ask you about overtime. Now, mind you, that worker that is begging for all the time off and the time away from work and the breaks, while he's working, is moving like a snail. And trust me, I have been a foreman in union jobs for places like Microsoft. I am not lying when I tell you I wish I could slap the stupid off of some of these people and just fire them on the spot because they were worthless human beings. I mean, in every aspect of their life, they were worthless. They would complain that I worked too much and were making them look bad. This is the level of workers we have now. Overly entitled, weak, sissified, worthless men. And they don't deserve the job. I have no problem with a corporate person firing anyone who's not bringing to him productivity. Here's what will happen when you bring productivity. You get paid. Don't hand me this BS that you don't get paid. I got paid. And you know how I got paid? I didn't take a break. And you know who noticed it? The owners. I fought for everything I had. I worked more and I finished jobs on time. You know what they gave me? A $20 raise. It was unheard of. You know why it was unheard of? Because other people weren't willing to work. They wanted to get paid before they did the work. I did the work to prove I was worth the pay. I'm not going to wait for someone else to do what I should be doing. That's what workers today want. And I wish they would get fired. I want them to be fired because you could make room for someone who actually wants to work.
And here's the thing, though. It's not just that. There's a culture of bad managers, too, that you're missing out on as well.
But who caused that? Who caused that?
It's not all the workers. I can tell you that.
Of course it is. How do you think he got into that position?
Could be nepotism.
How? No.
Could be filling up. I've seen enough of that.
Here's my question. If you don't push your workers beneath you to work and you get the raise, what happens to the rest of the business? It's influential on all fronts, which is why I say you fire the unproductive worker, whether that's a manager, a CEO, or the janitor. If you are not pulling your weight, fired, done. I don't want to hear your excuses. You could do one of two things. You could bring up your game, or you could shut the hell up and move on. Go find something else to do. Panhandle for all I care. And it may sound crass, it may sound mean, but I don't care if you all don't think it's mean. I grew up in an era where you worked for what you wanted, not want, and then maybe you might work to get it. You want to hand out before you can actually do something. That is BS, and it always has been BS, and it will always be BS. So I have no equivocations with him saying that he wants to see the unemployment jump. Here's why it would be good. You then have the field to pick from, and it's no longer a requirement just to take somebody on. The unemployment rate is high. Now I can go back and say, good, I'm at scratch, level 0. Now I'm going to pick exactly who I want. And I want you, you're going to do the job. You're going to get paid. And you know what could happen? I could do more with 5 good workers than I can with 50 getting 15 an hour. And I can pay those 500 an hour. I would have more return on my business investment if I paid 5 people $500 an hour each instead of 50 people because they want to work 15 each and satisfy a status quo. Because I'm in them losing money anyway because of my jobs aren't getting done. I'm not meeting my deadlines. My clients are falling out my behind. So what good is it having 50 workers if only 5 of them are working? I don't want that. That's losing me money. I'll fire every last one of them and keep the 5 and pay them an exponential rate. And I've seen it happen. It happened to me. They put me in charge of some fellas. I went back to manager and said, you know what? I don't want these guys. They're not working. He's like, I said, they're not working. Get me 2 more. I'm letting these 2 go from under I'm not supervising them no more. If they show up tomorrow, I'm going to have them sit out. He says, you serious? That's like, I'm dead serious. I want people who will work. He sent me 2 other guys. These guys busted, but we got a 2-week project done in a week and a half. After wasting 4 days already on those other clowns. And I'm fully sold on the concept that just because there's work available doesn't mean that you can do it. 1, and just because you should hire people doesn't mean you ought to.
Right. I don't disagree with most of your points. Like I said, it's like there are other aspects that I think that are being missed out on. That's my opinion. And it's like I said, bad managers being the biggest one.
And they should be fired.
Exactly. And then also, like they said, like that, there's also black companies in certain regards where they overwork people and don't appropriately compensate them either.
And if they got no workers, then they would go under, wouldn't they?
That's true.
So either way, the firing would work out in everybody's benefit. If you don't have workers, then you go under and that business goes bye-bye. I don't see the downside to unemployment here in this case. I really don't. Okay. You get rid of bad managers, and bad managers start off as stupid workers. And if you had gotten rid of them when they were a dumb worker, they wouldn't have the wherewithal to become a stupid manager.
That's true.
And if you didn't have money coming in by workers in a ridiculous company and you just stop going to work and no one's working for them, they can't do nothing. They go under. It works out perfectly. But we don't trust the system. You see, because we want equity and equality and everybody everyone gets a trophy nonsense has come into play now. Just fire everybody, man. You gone. And when you want to work and actually can work, come on, we'll hire you. I don't see nothing wrong at all with that. I think he may have worded it a little bit weird because it's his money. And again, it's his money. If he doesn't want to hire you, then I don't see how you can force him to. I don't see why the government would even force you to. It's my money, my investment. And if I don't feel like investing in you, I'm not gonna. Especially if you're making the economy worse for me as well as them. It's not my job to help you. It's my job to help me first so I can help you. It's like the oxygen mask in the plane. I have to put my mask on first before I help anybody else. Otherwise, I'll pass out. And who's going to help you? Nobody. So business has to look out for themselves first in order to look out for the society. And what the government has been doing is making it harder for good businesses to stay afloat and keep good workers by forcing them to behave like a stupid worker.
That's true.
Let's not forget that meanwhile, bad businesses and bad institutions have been propped up by the government in the recent
That's true
years.
too.
Yeah.
So
like
it's
all
a
the
bad deal all
bailouts, for
around.
instance.
Yeah, it's a bad deal all around. And it's not like you can just solve it from handing out more jobs. It's not going to get solved by that. It's not even by creating more jobs.
Not saying that. It's just like putting it like that, of saying we need more pain in the thing, even though like he's not addressing any of the other workers' complaints to begin with. Like if there's no incentive to work harder for a company, and you know you're just going to get tossed to the curb, then that's that culture that is dark that people aren't going to want to work for.
Well, you know what my incentive was to work harder? A check.
A check. I don't know what else
I got that money. That was my incentive.
Mine
when I first started working as a very young man, my incentive back in the 90s when we were making kibbles and bits, my incentive was that little check I got. No matter how hard and how much work I was doing, I knew, hey, I was getting a little change at the end of it. That was my incentive. I was young. I wanted to spend money. So there is an incentive to work. Yeah, it's the work environment that they have a problem with, because you can get somebody in there if you have a very positive environment making $8 an hour, but the environment is good to work in, people will be satisfied. It's the toxic environments to where people complain about the pay, complain about the environment. That's when people want more pay. Well, if I'm gonna come here every day and deal with this guy, they're gonna have to pay me more money. But if you come to a humble, nice, positive work environment, you won't hear a lot of people complain about pay.
I would venture to argue, though, that sometimes even a good environment can lead to a sense of entitlement. Like I look at the Google employees, how they think they're all, these. I mean, the work environment is fantastic. It's really high, but the workers there are nothing but spoiled brat tech kids.
But that's the thing; they're not getting paid for what they do.
Or the writers' strike and
they're not getting paid for anything compared to what their work produces.
Yeah,
right.
They're not getting paid for that. They're getting pampered for something that they have not done yet.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, I'm gonna go on a limb and tell you this much: I don't think people that work at Google do anything.
Facts.
Most of them don't.
Okay, if you have enough, listen to me. If you have enough time to have a coffee shop in your building, a workout center, a pool, tennis court, and you have time to be doing that during the day, it tells me you are doing nothing. Now you can go work. You can go work for them. Just don't think that somehow I should believe that you're a worker. You're employed. That there's a massive difference between a worker and someone who is employed. Hunter Biden, employed, not a worker.
Yeah.
You see the difference? Obama was employed. He was not a worker. Unless you're talking about the street corners. Not a worker. Okay? There is a massive difference. You have oil rig workers who go to work, do their job, understand the work ethic it brings to them, and they will do it. And it's hard work. They should be, if you were to go on a equity level, they should be getting almost $1,000 an hour for what they do.
Yeah.
But that's not the going rate for that job. Does it stop them from working? No. Because they know what they're born to do. I was not born for podcasting. I think I was just born to do what I was doing before. Electricity, data farms, building stuff like that. I used to love my work. I might still love it, but I used to love my job. I never went to work thinking that if I did this, this would be the outcome. I never went to work like that. I knew that I had a job to do. I had a deadline. And for my own, and this is the thing, it pissed me off when I missed a deadline. I didn't care whether the boss was happy or mad. I was pissed when I missed a deadline. If I saw myself even coming close to getting close to that deadline, I was furious. Well, not with them, not with supplies, with me. Because my work ethic trumped everybody else's and everybody else's view of me. I didn't care what they thought. This is very sorely lacking in today's society. And you have to fess up to that. Everybody's quite content to do the bare minimum, but expect the over-the-top opulence of a pay. And it can't work like that. I'm not going to pay you for nothing. The same way my kids expect me to pay them for chores around the house. Man, please miss me with that.
But I also think
live
corporate
here.
structures have beat them into that place as well.
A corporate structure always has tributaries. And just because the top was doing it doesn't mean that the tributary has to.
Right. No, I get that. Like I said, I think it's twofold. It's what you said needs to happen is true. But then also at the same time, they've done this to themselves. They've created that culture.
Well, and this is why people are the ones who are in charge, right?
Yeah.
This is why, and I like people like him. I do believe there need to be more like him. Start from ground zero, break the whole thing down and rebuild. The same thing like our government. We need to break it all down and rebuild because they got a job, right? Are they working?
No.
And they getting a good paycheck, right? They getting a really good paycheck.
Always raising,
always getting raises for doing nothing. They should all be fired.
And I have a buddy. It's crazy that we're having, not crazy, but it's interesting that we're having this conversation because a buddy of mine, he flips houses for a living. And he posted something online. He was like, yeah, I had some work to do at a house. I offered it to American citizens. I think it was a couple dollars, $10, $15 an hour. He said, I got no hits for a citizen working in construction. He said all the people that replied to his post to come work were all Hispanics, Mexicans. And he said they worked hard for the same amount of money that the spoiled American declined. Think about that.
Yep.
You have people that come to this country, all these people that are complaining about their job and their pay and all this other stuff. Go ahead, leave. If I was in charge, I'll hire me every single immigrant that comes to this country.
Period. Because they work.
That's who I would hire because they're going to be grateful. They come from countries where they don't have anything. And that little $15 an hour, they're going to take that and work their butts off because their work ethic is different from ours. Way different from Americans. Americans are entitled. Americans are spoiled. Always our rights. I get it. I love rights too. But we have rights for everything. Workers' rights, workers' comp, this right, that right. And then they complain about the job that they're at. You complain, you get break after break after break, sick time, paid sick time, vacation time, paid vacation time, and you still complain. Go to China, go to one of these other countries. You don't get that.
You're lucky.
So they need to be grateful for at least having a job.
Yeah.
Don't blame the job for not paying you more. Blame the government for raising everything because it's the government's fault why people are working and can't afford anything.
They set the market.
Yep. It's not the person that owns the business fault. It's not his fault. He only can pay the people what he can afford. You can't expect him to keep up with inflation when inflation is moving at a rate too fast and this business is only worth this much. So he only can pay what his business allows him to pay. He can't just make up money and give you a raise because the price of milk went up. Can't do that. So blame the government for that. Blame the government for all these people unhappy at work. Blame the government for their money they're making is not enough to cover their rent, their mortgage, their groceries, their medical bills. It's not the people that they're working for. It's fault.
Anyway, sorry to get heated, but because I wasn't in a managerial position and because I was in that leadership role, I fully understand that man's frustration with workers. One of my workers told me to my face, you need to stop working so hard. Mind you, he's older than me. He's been at this job twice as long as me, and he works less than me. And I got there, and in 2 weeks, I took a position that was leadership over him, and he hated that. And he saw me as a foreman doing more work than a layman. And he got mad at me. And I said to him, this is what I said to him. Look, just because you don't want to wear a suit and tie and you see me in one and you get jealous because I have a suit and tie, you could do one of two things. Shut up or go get a suit and tie. But don't tell me I'm not supposed to wear no suit and tie. I like my suit and tie. Just because I'm outworking you, it proves to me that you're a worthless worker. And this is what I told him. You're a worthless worker. I'm not going to be like you. So you have to do one of two things. Quit or step up your game. Make up your mind. But I ain't going to lower my standards for your stupidity. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to act like an idiot just because you are one. That's trust and believe me, you ain't worth that much of my world and time for me to lower myself to your level in order for you to feel good. You could miss me with that. That ain't gonna happen.
Hell yeah,
That ain't gonna happen.
So based.
That ain't gonna happen. Mr. Lee?
Okay, so I'm going to read something. This is going to be for the audience to do their own inside the chat, but and we could probably dissect this after I get done. So I'm going to read something. It's a 3-page thing, and then we can discuss it. So, right. Dear Dr. Gamble, it's good to know that you are recovering. I also am stepping up and have felt much better the past week. Ms. Delp was here for Thanksgiving, and I am more than delighted to learn that she was able to get $250 from the California Birth Control Organization plus $600 from the Federation. That's good. She's a go-getter and a live wire. Very tactful and charming as well. I think that my pick of her has been justified, even though she's a little higher priced than the ordinary. She's been working on the article to be written by Miriam DeFord, Mrs. Margaret Shipley. They were good enough to send me a rough draft for comments and suggestions, and the important suggestion that I made was not to include Miss Delp's actual name in the article because of the fact that her sister is married to one of the high spots in the Farm Security Department. And if the enemy started to work on her name, they might make it difficult to go along the line. Otherwise, I think the article is good. As to my sending suggestion to the Federation, I think it is really unfair for me to do so. I'm too far away to have the personal contact of the different reactions, and it is only holds up any definite project to have the pros and cons battered about, which makes for more chaos and confusion. There's only one thing that I would like to be in touch with, and that is the Negro Project of the South, which, if the execution of the details remain in Miss Rose's hands, my suggestions will not be confusing because she knows that way my mind works. Miss Rose sent me a copy of your letter of December 5th, and I note that you doubt it worthwhile to employ a full-time Negro physician. It seems to me from my experience where I had been in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts. They do not do this with the white people, and if we can train the Negro doctor at the clinic, we can go among them with enthusiasm and with knowledge, which I believe will have far-reaching results among the colored people. His work, in my opinion, should be entirely with the Negro profession and the nurse, hospitals, social workers, as well as the county's white doctors. His success will depend on his personality, his training by us. The minister's work is also important, and he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideals and the goal that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. I agree with you that Miss Rose has done a remarkable job in thinking through and planning the project, but she has worked on it for some time. As soon as I know there was a possibility of getting any money, I put her at work drafting the plan for Mr. Lackner. She is excellent at such a job. She hangs on to the details, weaves and correlates them into the design. I shall never cease to have the utmost admiration and regard for her ability and so far, I have not seen anyone in the Federation who could take her place. I am constantly delighted at the thought that you are getting better, and now we must pray for Mrs. Time, who is seriously ill at the doctor's hospital in New York. My regards to you, or Sarah, and to yourself, sincerely yours, Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, I was about to say that was Margaret Sanger.
I knew it was Margaret Sanger.
I like her. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, she was a eugenics. She was into eugenics and all that stuff. You know, she's a great gal.
I can't get over the line where it says we do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population because that was our ideals. That's crazy to me.
What country is Negro?
It's
no, serious question.
Is it
nice? So, you know, you ever ask your question like back then? They always called black people Negro.
Mm-hmm. It comes from
what
the
country?
Latin root.
What
Black.
Country is? I don't care where it comes from. What country is Negro?
All
because you have Irish, they're from Ireland. You have Africans, they're from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You have Australians, they're from Australia. But here in our country is one of the only countries that we're not allowed to just say he's American. What is a Negro? What country is it? And I want to know. What country is it?
Okay, so in history, there was a place called Negroland. You didn't know about this?
No.
Yeah, there was a place called Negroland where all the Negroes lived. Okay, and they took them from Negroland and put them here and multiple places too, and they just kept their name. Where are you from? Negroland. Say, what are you? I'm a Negro.
Oh, interesting.
Like Asian land.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Was it a utopia?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
They had spaceships and shields.
Man, no, it was
Had
very
special medals.
it was clean. It was well spoken, kind of like
Oh,
Brock,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, he's from
Clean cut.
Negro Land.
He's from Negro Land. Yeah.
Oh, that was where
At
he
least
was
half of them,
born.
anyway.
You didn't? I
Yeah.
thought you guys knew this, man. This is common
Damn, I
knowledge.
learned something new today.
This is-
The new.
But see, going back to Margaret Sanger, right? This is why you can see a lot of black people, I'm gonna say, they don't understand or don't know the history behind Planned Parenthood.
Right.
If they knew the true history behind Planned Parenthood and the purpose of Planned Parenthood, they wouldn't be out here exterminating the population.
No, and I
They don't
think
care.
we would have the Black American population be at least a quarter, if not 40%.
Not if they keep killing each other.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
gang violence aside, I think
Okay.
the abortion side of things, that was taken off the table,
Mhm.
we would see an increase in population.
Yes.
Yeah,
It would
I
be
think somebody
sad.
had said that there's more black babies killed than there is born in the United
Mhm.
States.
I saw a stat back in 2021 where it said that of all the abortions that happen in the United States, Black women make up 40% of the abortions.
It's a heavy
Wow.
statistic,
big
and they've
number.
pushed it in all
That's
of
a
these
lot.
neighborhoods for a long time.
That is a lot. 40%.
It's huge.
So, mind you, the original name was the American Birth Control League,
Mm-hmm.
and it finally got changed into that, but it went through another iteration called the Clinical Research Bureau. This is where she was trying to implement the original Negro Plan. It wasn't called a Negro Plan back then. It was just the extermination idea that she was going to go through with, because she linked Black people with physical defects of special needs children. And this is where she got her eugenics thing really kickstarted, was from the idea that we can link the Negro with a deep birth defect and clump them together. And that way people won't really think it's about killing a specific race. They would see it as what they see it now: birth control. We don't want to have a special needs kids because it's a drain. She said this, by the way, a drain on society. It's a tough thing for the parents, and who's going to take care of them when the parents die? This was her logic, hers. In an interview, you can go find it.
And you want to know what's interesting? She would call these people morons. This type of people,
Yeah.
and moron back in the day is the notion that your IQ points are anywhere from like 24 to 74, and you're considered a moron. And there's that tie-in to the eugenics.
Because by then, a lot of the, unfortunately, majority of African Americans had low IQ, because it has just been coming out of them never been educated, having been in slavery. So she had the perfect, and I mean the perfect storm of an excuse to kickstart Planned Parenthood. It is still the same reason why it's in low-income areas, because low income equals most of the time low education. And then with low education, it tells you that you have inability to take care of. So the best way to take care of it is to not have it to take care of. They still hide all of this under the pretext of Planned Parenthood. You're not planning parenthood. You're planning the absence of parenthood. This is not, if I were to plan parenthood, I would be preparing for a child, not preparing to kill it.
That's right.
So I don't know how they keep their name, but I understand why they have the name, because the name is there in order to cover what they really want, which is genocide.
You remember me saying this before. They play by gen rules, right? So you make a wish and you'll get your wish. It'll just be something completely different and mostly nightmarish afterwards. So it's the way the Democrats operate, right? They'll say something's nice and pretty, but what's actually underneath it is a nightmare.
Right. So if you're going to use the word moron, that's a lot less politically correct. So if you want to take it down, if you use the word retarded, that actually just means you're slow. You use the word moron, that means you're tying that word to eugenics. And if you use the term idiot, which is a person that has the IQ points of 0 to 24, you weren't allowed to vote. So the real politically correct term to use for somebody who is not as intelligent would be retarded.
Brain.
Yeah.
Or human brain.
Retarded.
So if you use moron, you're using that term because you want to off that person.
Now,
window liquor.
Window liquor is another good one. Short bus driver. Now, a very little known, maybe a lot known or ignored anyway. Fun fact: there is a certain tie-in with the real rise of Planned Parenthood to another bill. So there was something passed in 1965, and I forget the name of what it was now. What was that thing?
Great.
Oh yeah, the
Great.
Civil Rights Act, and
people
Planned
might know.
Parenthood fully changed their name over to what it's now called in about 1964.
Everything is a rich man's trick.
So they all linked it. For people who still want to think that MLK was this good guy, I don't care what you think about him. Facts and history tell something different. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care if you like it or not. You don't have to like history. It's still history. He did indeed side with the people that were trying to exterminate the same people he said he was trying to liberate. Just so you know, the reason that they killed Kennedy was not because they had some other thing that they had on Kennedy. Kennedy was the one barrier between them actually getting what they wanted versus what Kennedy saw was needed. He was against what was the final iteration of the Civil Rights Bill, in case people didn't know. He was trying to keep it localized to one person. The other guy that, helped kill him, the vice president guy, I'm not even going to give him the honor of saying his name, Voldemort, he influenced MLK, and MLK was also, I'm sorry to tell you, but he was an agent of the state. He lent his hand to procuring black votes behind it. And with that came Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood came right in the back pocket of the civil rights movement. And when the civil rights movement started dragging men out the house, they shoved Planned Parenthood right into it. And what happened? The reduction of black families. And like I keep telling people, from the advent of Planned Parenthood till about 2019, Planned Parenthood has been responsible for the death of 20 million black lives. 20 million black lives at the hand of Planned Parenthood alone. If anything I can say about Margaret Sanger is that she was successful.
Yep. Everything is a rich man's trick.
So y'all can think what you want about that. That's just history in a nutshell for you.
Just like people kind of look over the fact that eugenics came from America, and it's like Hitler wasn't the only person to come up with that idea. He just borrowed it.
Well, eugenics came around long before America.
It's been a while.
Eugenics has been around for centuries. But America made it popular.
Nations have been trying to wipe out nations because of how they look for a while now.
Yep.
Yep.
Pharaoh did it, so go figure.
He sure
All right,
did.
bro. What you got to the table?
Oh man, this is hot. This is hot off the press. So you guys heard about this comet that's supposed to zip past Earth on the 23rd, right? So it's this comet called Nishimura. So it's Japanese. There's a lot of theories behind this comet, and they're saying it's supposed to come. It's supposed to, zip past Earth, and then it's supposed to be gone for another 400 years. Then you have to ask yourself, how the hell did you know that 400 years that this thing? I mean, if you knew that, how come we're just now finding out that this comet is coming on this day? So how do you know it's going to be another 400 years before it comes back? But that's neither here or there. So it all ties in to September 23rd. That's the day it's supposed to happen. On September 23rd, if anyone's ever read, I know Marlon has, and maybe Coy, Revelations 12:1. Now, Marlon and I don't disagree. He just gave his view on it, but I didn't disagree with his version. So here is Revelations 12:1. And don't worry, for all you people that are not religious out there, this isn't a religious total topic. We're just putting things together here. So I'm going to pull it up, and we're going to read this passage. There you go.
Wrong one. There you go.
Yeah, you deleted me.
All right. Everybody got it. And appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, 7 crowns on his head. Later in Revelation, takes off Satan the dragon. All right. So everybody's heard that. But there's also the fact that in Revelations 12:1 also talks about the sun's going to be clothed in the constellation Virgo. The moon's going to be at her feet. Right? So they're saying that this comet, it talks about how the Virgin Mary, or not the Virgin Mary, but the Virgo constellation is screaming in birth pains. What they're saying is that this comet, metaphorically, is pretty much the constellation Virgo giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if everybody knows the Bible, that's the beginning of what, Marlon? The beginning of, I know you don't believe it is, but it's the beginning of, not the rapture. What's it called?
1,000-year war.
Return. His return.
Yeah, his return. Christ's return.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, see, Marlon, he's a little more versatile in this, but so they're saying that this comet is supposed to smack into the sun.
Mm-hmm.
This is the theory. So they're saying on the 23rd, this comet that they're saying is supposed to, it has an kind of an oblique, not oblique, but a different orbit from the Earth. It kind of goes in and out, and it's supposed to smack into the sun. And they're saying sometime at night, whenever, you're going to hear a loud, like thunderous sound. And this is this comet hitting the sun. And they said on that day, that's when the 3 days of darkness start.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about that?
I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be interesting because it's going to be a giant solar flare event. I mean, you got to think of what that's going to do to electronics. Like,
exactly. So if you ever look at the Q map, right? If you guys have you guys seen the Q map? It has
The
all
quap.
this stuff.
Not.
The quack.
All right, it's this huge map, and it has all these things on it. On that map, it talks about a solar flare, like what you just said. It actually talks about that. And the solar flare is supposed to be this huge, like, flare, like Coy said, and it's supposed to knock out everything. And that's what they're saying is going to cause the 3 days of darkness. So I'm gonna pull it up so you guys
the
can
computer.
All right, so
I don't have a Faraday cage. Shit.
all right, so this solar event.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna pull this up. While we're doing this, I'm trying to make it quick because there's something else we're gonna make. We have to make fun of somebody. So
yeah, that's what they kept saying too. Then they told, "Oh, the Mayan calendar. Don't worry about it."
That was 2012.
Well, not the Mayan calendar, but
why do
I can go into that too. So when it talks about the calendar, the original calendar is 28-day months, 13 months, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're supposed to be 13 months.
Yeah, so they screwed up the calendar. Some months have 30 days, others have 31 days. One month has 28 days. Sometimes it has 29 days. So they're saying they messed up the timeline so bad to throw man off.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, they're saying we're not actually in the year 2023 because all the dates they added on there pushed us so far forward. We're actually in another year. So that makes sense.
Which year?
No, I mean it does.
Well, I think
I don't know.
20. I know we're like in 2013, 2012, something like that.
Oh, we're ahead.
2013, 2012.
Yeah.
We're
All we
behind.
got to do is
would be.
put the clocks back. We'll be fine.
Huh? Yeah, it's not gonna. It's not letting me. But anyways, there's so on a Q calendar, it talks about a great solar flash. So they're saying this, and so they're trying to tie this into the 23rd with this comet and the constellation Virgo with the sun at her shoulders, the moon at her feet, crying birth pains. This comet whips around the same day on the 23rd when this is happening in the constellation Virgo, and they're saying it's supposed to hit the sun, and they're saying it's supposed to cause the great solar flash. The great solar flash creates 3 days of darkness.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Interesting
23rd
theory.
of September. But everything I'm saying, the comet and the constellation Virgo, that is happening on the 23rd. That is like legit confirmed. Now, would it smacking the sun and all this other, that's just theories running around.
It'll barely miss it.
Well, technically, they're not gonna. If it hits at night, we'll be okay.
Yeah, because it's dark. Whatever. Because if it hits at night, it's still. They're saying that if it does, it's going to put out so much energy that the sun is going to hit everywhere on the planet.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
Then
Let's just hope we're the furthest away from the sun at that time.
Yeah, that's
Which
what I'm
is at
saying.
night.
Nighttime would be perfect. Yeah.
As long as it's at night and it's
Midnight would be great. That'd be just
as long as
smack
it's the
dab.
Europeans, it's fine.
Hey, when you wake up and it's dark and you can't turn on your lights, you're gonna be like, "Oh man, bro was right. I can't."
No,
even
I'll be
call
fine
him."
with that. Here's the thing: none of that stuff gonna scare me. All it's gonna be like, oh, finally,
Yeah,
oh,
let's
it's
get it over
begun.
with.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. I'm so happy.
But-
I'm ready to go.
Here's what I think. I think if say it does happen, let's just play devil's advocate here. Say it happens. You're going to see these alien ships. They're going to spark up that Project Bluebeam, and you're going to see alien ships flying around
Let
everywhere.
them fly.
They're
Let
going to
them
be like
fly.
it was the aliens that did it.
Man, let them fly, bro.
That reminds me, I was going to bring it up, but since you brought up aliens, did you see the Mexican Congress bringing out the alien corpses?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been trending everywhere.
Oh, they have corpses of them now.
You didn't see it?
They finally finished. Did they finally finish the
let me show you.
prototypes?
There you go.
They finally finished the prototypes.
They like brought out these little guys.
Oh, it's like Men in Black. That's the Men in Black guy, the one that was inside the hat. Oh
yeah,
Orion's belt. You know, that's the Orion's
so, like,
belt guy.
they were like forced to do like all these kind of things. It was pretty crazy.
They actually did X-rays on them.
Yeah.
This is silly.
Yeah, and they made a whole big deal out of it.
We have Aryans.
All right.
Aryan nation. Did they sit up?
No, these are like 1,000 years old. They're like mummies.
Oh, they're clay.
Yeah, they're
Good sculpture
1,000.
work, though. Good
They're
sculpture
1,000
It's like
years
a mix
old. They
a
know
mix of
they're
ET
1,000
and Baby
years old.
Yoda.
Yeah.
No, right.
And those things ain't no dang aliens. They made those things.
That's what they're claiming anyway.
They can claim that whatever they want.
Honestly,
I don't trust none of them.
that looks like a mummified baby, like a child.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
They just found some like baby somewhere. Just
I
put
mean,
'em in there. Yeah,
Why
it
not?
was crazy.
What do we know as dumb Americans?
They're funny.
I don't
Anyway,
trust
yeah.
none of these.
Hey,
fools.
it still hasn't beaten India and their moon landing. Okay.
I know.
Look. If y'all ain't seen the Indian moon landing yet, you thought
was funny.
Bollywood was funny. If you thought Bollywood was funny and the kind of stunts they pull off, wait till you see India's moon landing. Wow. Wow. Like wow. Look,
You could pull out an Atari controller.
Benny Hill
It's a
couldn't do a better job.
representation of them landing on the moon.
Hey,
It's
hey,
not
you know what-
them
you know what's-
actually landing on the moon.
You know what's funny about the India landing is that I was on Facebook and it was trending all over Facebook. So I would go to the little article and be like, fake. This is bull crap. And all these Indian dudes are getting mad at me. They were like, you don't know, you're not smart. And I was like, I'm not smart, man. Look at this, man. And I played this game back in 1985, right?
It's called Asteroid, bro.
Asteroid Galactica. Man, what are you guys trying to
A
fool?
little
with
known
this
Atari
crap?
game as ET.
But
Running home.
Put in the
yeah,
dumps.
so like I was saying, so we can go on to this last one because I think we're gonna make fun of somebody. But it's just a watch date, and like I said, it is happening. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This comet is going to pass Earth on the 23rd. The Virgo constellation is going to be what it says, with the sun and the moon and everything, and Leo at the head with the 10 stars, and I think it's 10 stars. So a crown of stars at her head. So all that is happening. The only thing I'm worried about is that dang comet. If it smacks into the sun,
Don't worry about the comet because India has an answer for it, and this is the answer right here.
Oh yeah, they're gonna go to this. They're gonna go to the moon. Look at this guy.
Shri Narendra Modi ji, who is here to encourage us, and he is critically at visuals.
Representation.
Who the heck believes this? Look at him. He's like, I hope they don't.
This is like Indian scammers, bro.
All right.
Are you serious? They're known swindlers.
Are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Shri S. Somnath.
We have landed on the moon.
Hey, they got some skills. Y'all see them? Y'all see that thing was top end.
Somebody in the comments said that already happened. What's going to happen? No, it happened in 2017. I remember that, but it's going to happen again on the 23rd.
And then on the
this year. So what you're talking about, yes, this did happen. The constellation setup that happened in 2017. It's going to happen again on the 23rd
with the meteor,
with the comet. That's the key.
There's a difference. It's a meteor.
There is a big difference.
That's a big difference. One's going to smack into Earth and then into the sun and then kill the moon, and then all the aliens going to fall down dead. Everybody know that's how it go. Just learn. Learn the code.
They said, which comet is it? Nishimura.
Nishimura.
Nishi, N-I-S-H-I. Mura.
Okay, I'm making a prediction now. It's going to crash into the sun, and then the thing that's going to come hurtling to Earth is Godzilla.
Oh, damn. You got to say it like that. How do you say it?
Gojira.
Gojira.
It's Gojira. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And then, it's going to have the Moth Wars, and it's going to be entertaining. King Kong will come out of the ground.
Hey,
I mean Mothra.
If it is 3 days of darkness, don't come out your house. You better stay inside your house.
And then the mole men are going to come out of the ground and attack us all.
Oh, and lizard men are going to pop out of people's skin. Man, it's just,
I'm not mocking
one big movie.
I ain't playing with that stuff.
Deep core. We're gonna have Hollow Earth going on.
I think there was a Simpsons episode that talked about this day too.
Oh yeah, they always talk about this stuff.
Yeah, because they know.
if one thing was going to be real, I think Hollow Earth would be a lot more fun.
I think the day the Earth stood still, you're gonna see Keanu Reeves become what he really was supposed to be at the end of it. I mean, I never know.
Yeah, you know. Hey, come the 23rd. If we don't hear from each other, if we're not podcasting by that time, just know
because the internet will be down, bro.
Yeah, the internet.
Yeah, because everything will be down. I mean, nobody's gonna hold anybody for a while.
Come on, if there's a solar flare
that large, everything's done.
Okay. If there is a solar flare and we lose communication, it proves to me we never landed on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what it took to knock out just our communications now, you want me to believe that? No, man. Sorry. Moon landing never happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I already knew it. I already knew it didn't happen because there's no way I can go into my basement and not hear my phone from upstairs. But you want me to believe a Negro left Earth and go to the moon and you could talk to him like he's right next door. You lying to me, bro.
That's the president. Mr.
Come on,
President.
Man. Come on.
I'm calling you from the Oval Office.
On the moon.
Right. Hey, so, Marlon, you got this last one. This one's going to be funny. Let's let the people decide.
People decide what?
On Mr. Fetterman.
I'm going to have them go look. Okay. Mr. Fetterman was recently caught on camera. He looks a lot different, too. He grew a mustachio instead of just the beard. I think they just, like Mr. Potato Head, they swapped the top and bottom. Mm-hmm. And he has a new tattoo, it looks like, on the top of his hand. And it doesn't look like the ones on the inside here are very normal. You just go look. You trust me, it's everywhere now. And just type in Fetterman tattoos and just have a field day and go compare what you used to see to now.
Yeah.
And see if you can find his delegation, because I think that's who was in charge of his tattoos, his delegation.
It's not the same dude. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not him.
The same way it's not Jamie Foxx. Everybody knows all of them. They're all.
It's not Jamie Foxx.
It's not
Joe Biden. It's not Hillary Clinton. It's not them.
It is me though. Okay.
Yeah.
We are real.
We are clones. No, what? How do you know?
Clowns. Clowns, not
clones.
Clowns.
We
are clowns. Class clowns, not clones.
I wasn't supposed to say that?
No. You can't be giving our secret away, man.
Damn.
Now I gotta swap mine out.
Bro.
Golly gee. I gotta pick which one I want. Do I want the 2005 version or the 2010 version?
Take me back to the 2010 version.
I want the 2000. Let me see. How old that would have been? I want the 2013 version of me.
Yeah, me too.
I would have been in my mid 30s. Swole, just fast down. Fast.
You're funny.
Strong.
Funny. In any event, Friday we won't be having a show. So don't get your expectations up too high. There are other things going on. But that doesn't mean that we won't be dropping videos. I've been encouraging these guys to make little short ones to give you guys some entertainment in the weekday. Because trust me, if you ever saw Bro's TikToks, you'd be rolling laughing. It's funny stuff. Anyway, so if we can get some of those garnered, that we'll drop them on our channel on Friday, so you can have something to tie you over for the weekend. The following Saturday, we'll have again another Rumble event. Every 2 weeks now is what we're doing, and not every month. And that one ought to be good, because I think it'll be a great time to tackle the election issues. I think we can finally talk about 2020 the way I want to talk about it. So for me, I already know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to be talking about Dominion and what they used to say, what they hadn't said, and now what they're saying is impossible when they said it was before. So we'll talk about all that on that Saturday. So
okay,
y'all can pick what you want. But we'll let you know about Monday what we have planned. We have a whole 4 days now to figure it out, so it should be good. Today was a good one. We had some good topics, and so it'll be good. So please don't miss our Too Strong videos. We dropped a really good one, and I think you need to go see about Mark Zuckerberg and his link to Hawaii. Go check that one out. Because it's they kind of need him for the 15-minute cities since he's so versed in the meta. So he has a 400-acre lot out there.
Of course he does.
Yeah,
of course he does.
Yeah. Go figure. They all have something out there. No, but hers isn't necessarily fenced like his is, with drones and security all around it.
Lasers.
No,
now, mind you,
private fire support suppression
right.
unit.
So mind you, now I know something about data farms. You could put quite a few of them in 20 acres. Okay. In fact, you could put a really nice big one on 20 acres, and it will house multiple functions. So I just want you to know, 400 acres, you could do a lot with it. 1,000 acres, you can do even 2,000 acres. You could kill, literally.
But if that climate change is going to erase the sea, and
no, it's going to be waterproof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they float. Yeah.
I want to see them all go down. I want to see the whole system crumble. This is why I want this solar flare to happen. I just want everything to just go dark for a couple days.
Bro just wants to see the world burn.
No, so people can wake up and realize there's a lot more things important than your phone.
Bro,
there's a lot more important human connections, people connections, and make people get closer. It'll force us to sit down and talk to each other. You know, will it suck? Yeah, it'll suck because we all like this, but there could be something good that comes out of it.
So you're telling us to read books that day?
Yeah.
I read books
I'm going to read a book.
The Power of Awareness is a book everyone should read.
The Awareness of Powers.
The Power of Awareness. Look it up.
Gotcha.
Trust me.
Anything on the hooch for Sunday?
You won't be disappointed.
No.
You're going to be moving this week, right? Or is it next week?
Next week.
Okay, so you're still good for Sunday then?
Yes, I'll still be here.
Okay, so yeah, then there will be an episode on Sunday for the hooch.
So y'all need to tune in.
Or tune out. I mean, tune in.
What? Huh?
Tune in.
Huh?
Everybody know not to take me seriously. What do I know? I'm a dummy.
Right.
I'm simple.
We do it.
Clayton did.
I threaten people. And I'm still waiting on my lawsuit too. I haven't gotten my lawsuit papers.
Oh yeah, from RT Dubs.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
He's a little punk. He's going after Big Mike right now, Professor Mike.
Hey, he barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, Professor Mike.
Look. He wants to go up Mike's tree, and he tried going up what's his name's tree too.
Big Mouth.
No, Nate.
Oh yeah, Nate's another one.
He don't want to do either one of those two. But I want to see him try so that it'll be hilarious. It's just good entertainment.
Yeah,
just good entertainment. In any case, we'll see you guys on the following week, Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all Monday. Peace out.
Or September 23rd.